The flickering light emanating from the candles danced across the walls as I spun. The rhythmic notes hit my ears and coursed through the rest of my body, encouraging my movement. I filled the room entirely. As the clock struck midnight, I took a sip from the glass of champagne, happily swaying in my hand. "Happy New Year," I whispered. I was alone. I was victorious. I'm Pamela Portnoy.
I'm Alexa Marie Anderson.
And no one's okay.
Me before, and oh my god, I loved it.
Why?
I don't know. It was magical.
I'm looking at you with your lip trembling. What's happening?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I really enjoyed that story.
Why?
I don't know, because it felt so. I don't know. I really like. Well, I love New Year's. I love dancing, so those were all things I really relate to. So I didn't know that was what you were gonna say. I was very caught off guard, and I loved it.
Self-care.
Self-care.
Self-care 101. Spend New Year's alone. Dance and
I've done that.
Drink a bottle of champagne and journal and listen to music.
Yeah.
I did that last New Year's. Honestly, probably one of my favorite ways that I've rung in the new year thus far. By myself.
That's amazing.
It sounds kind of pathetic.
No.
But, honestly, I'll do it again.
It doesn't sound pathetic at all. It's interesting because last New Year's, I wasn't by myself, but I was single. So it felt really different than every other New Year's. I know that sounds...
Because you've been... It doesn't sound anything. You're just used to... You were in a long relationship, so you were used to being with him on New Year's.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I still... did what I always do. I hung out. So
you were still with him?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I knew you guys were still hanging out as friends when you were together.
No. He wasn't there. And actually, he could have been. Actually, he could have been, but I wanted him not to be because I wanted that for myself. But no. My friends and I, New Year's is like our holiday.
That's so fun.
That's like our thing. So I hang out with them and all of their significant others. So that was interesting, but it's so fun because none of my friends are really. I shouldn't use the word coupley, but they're not like when they're with their significant other. It's not like they're the only two in the room. They're very inclusive of everyone. So I still had a wonderful time and didn't feel weird at all.
That's awesome.
It was actually really fun.
As a professional, third wheel, I am the third wheel in so many of my friendships.
That's okay.
I just happen to adore all of my close friends, significant others, yours included. I'm just really good at being a third wheel and enjoying everyone involved. But my friends growing up, and myself, we've all kind of been, we were not forced, but I guess when we were young, we can consider it forced. We were supposed to hang out with our families on New Year's. It was a cultural thing.
Yeah, no, I used to. Up until a certain age, I went with my family on New Year's.
We were absolutely even some of my friends until they were married. It was a thing. You spend your time with your family on New Year's, ringing the New Year with your family, your parents. Mm-hmm. But then, once I got older, there were times where I would spend it with my significant others. There were times where I was traveling. I recently, before this one, I was in Israel the time before, or maybe it was 2 years before. I don't know. And then I spent one in India, which was amazing. But New Year's has always been a very reflective moment for me. It sounds kind of cliche, but you're setting the tone for your year and reflecting on what you just went through. I think it's your first act of self-care in a way, because people are how people really take it seriously. How am I going to ring in the new year? What is going to set the tone? That is an act of self-care.
Yeah, no, totally. And I feel that's maybe why it's my friends and I, we do it like we do. And it's almost like a celebration of our friendship because, I live across the country from them and we all went to, even before that, we all went to separate colleges and we have such a close bond. So being together is really, it makes me feel at ease. Brings me back to neutral. Mm-hmm. It's definitely an act of self-care for sure. I agree with you.
When I went to Chicago 2 weekends ago, it was interesting because I was getting pretty emotional, you know, per usual, with my friend who said she made a toast at our like dinner, and she said to having friends that are, you know, low maintenance, and I mean it in the best way possible, in the way that you don't have to be constantly talking to each other, constantly in touch. You can talk on the phone maybe once a month, and then when you see each other, it's like no time has passed. And when I met out with her and had that dinner with her and chatted with her, I didn't realize how badly I needed her presence and her input and her, you know, interaction. And I really felt like that trip to Chicago, because we just spent mostly one-on-one time, with the exception of like, you know, we hung out with her husband for a bit, who is absolutely lovely. And like we had some really good times with, you know, doing activities with groups of people. But it was such an act of self-care to spend time with a friend that like has known me. I've known her since elementary school, and we became really close in college because we took a philosophy class together. Like she knows me on a very deep level, and we just don't have to be constantly in contact. And it was such a good feeling to rekindle that and to acknowledge that part of my heart that can go neglected sometimes because of the day-to-day obligations and other things that I get involved in. And it's soul feeding.
It is. No, I can relate to that as well. Some of my days off I have just been spent talking to my friends on the phone individually. Like there has been I know for a fact there has been days.
You call everybody.
I call everyone. I call Sabrina. Shout out to Sabrina. I call Sabrina. I call Aileen. I call Cassidy. They're my high school friends. I've known them for so long now. I talk to them for at least like an hour on the phone each, and it totally rejuvenates me and feeds my soul. That's exactly what you said. Because they know me better than anyone else.
They hold a part of you that isn't, you know, acknowledged on the day-to-day, because over time it's like that one person has such a part of your heart that only they can like feed it.
Absolutely.
It's so crazy.
They bring me
I'm
back.
getting like really emotional.
No, it's okay. No, they bring me back to neutral a lot of times too, because I think being out here with all the hustle and bustle, and I get lost sometimes. I get lost in myself. And
you're also really new here.
Yeah.
For like relatively.
Relatively. Yeah. I've only been here for 3 years.
And I can't even imagine how hard it was for you to pick up and move away from your life and come here to pursue your dream.
It was really difficult. I think I didn't think about it too much, because if I would have, probably wouldn't have
Overthinking nightmare.
Overthinking nightmare. But yeah, they definitely bring me back to neutral, and they kind of remind me of who I am.
I totally get that.
Because I get lost in the journey that is LA. Like, let's talk about that. That's a whole nother animal. So they slow me down. They bring me back to neutral. They rejuvenate me. They remind me of who I am as a person. And I'm so like I'm gonna get emotional now too, because I'm so lucky to have them as friends. They're so, speaking of low maintenance friends, they're so low maintenance in like the best way, because it's like no time has passed when we see each other. And I mean, even you and I, obviously we see each other all the time. We see each other all the time, but we're not like constantly needing. You know what I'm saying? Like
you have work. You're
yeah.
The amount of work that you fucking do with like 2 different jobs and auditions when they come up, and you know, relationship, and like your other friendships. Like there are times where like you and I don't speak for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I'm like, where are you?
It gets real weird when I see you again. I'm like, wait, I feel like I just saw you yesterday, but like actually, like we've just been busy with life. It's very interesting, like when you develop a friendship with someone that becomes like a core part of your life. It's been a really difficult year for me, a couple of years. Not only did my friend move to Chicago with her husband, that was like 3 years ago. 2 other of my friends who are attorneys, like obviously they have careers that take up a lot of their time, and they have their own like relationships and social lives. And then two of my other best friends who are married to each other, and they're two of my favorite people in the entire world. They took off and went to Montana to raise their family, and it is the most beautiful thing. And also it gives me an excuse to go to Montana, which is one of the best places in the world. But there's this hole there that they inhabit in my heart. And when I go see them, that's like really the only thing that can fix it. But being in Montana with them, like I was like, oh, this piece is being filled again. Like you don't even realize that it's missing until you are there and you're having fun and you're like having the conversations that you've been wanting to have. It's
amazing. I was home for
the
Labor
ultimate
Day.
self-care.
Yeah. No, I was home for Labor Day and I got to see two of my really, really good friends, Aileen and Cassidy. Shout out to them. They're amazing. And it was incredible. It was completely incredible to be in my hometown and hang out with them. And it was like old times. And sometimes I get really sad because I feel like I'm missing big parts of their lives being here.
Yeah.
But they're so like, that's why they're the best friends ever though, because they encouraged me to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They're like so happy and so proud, and I'm and vice versa. I'm proud of what they're doing and all that stuff too. But it's like never are they like, oh well, you missed this and you missed. You know what I'm saying? Like they're so lucky. Like every time we get back together, it's like nothing's changed.
That space can't be filled.
Absolutely.
You've got that slot, and you're confident that you have that slot.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, when my friend got married, I was kind of a little, at first I was like nervous. I was like, oh, I live so far away and I'm not going to have to be there for this and that and whatever and the next thing. And I felt really bad about it, but she handled that situation so gracefully and it was no big deal.
Yeah.
It was no big deal at all. I made it to the wedding and I was next to her as she got married and like, it was no stress. And that's when you know you have really wonderful friends in your life. When they support everything you're doing and are so proud of you. And I really am blessed, like truly, truly blessed. And even like, I mean, you as well sitting in front of me, like blessed with really great friendships.
Yeah, whatever.
So I have to throw that out there. I'm very lucky.
Likewise, I'm very, very lucky. If I did any, that's probably like one of the things I did right. As I like blow my nose because I'm like emotional.
No, you're fine. No, but it's easy to go to the negative parts of your life all the time, and I'm loving that we're thinking of like the great things that we have.
Oh my God, if I did anything right in my life, it's cultivating the relationships that I have cultivated.
Speaking of cultivating relationships,
yeah,
I'm gonna throw this out there because when I first moved here, finding friends was like dating. I felt like I had to ask, like, even you included.
Oh my God.
On like a date. I was like, Pam, do you want to get drinks? Like, do you want to go get
I honestly like don't remember this, so I would really like an account of what you were feeling. Like, did it feel like you were asking me out on a date?
Like a little bit. Like I was like, I gotta like, I need to like. So we met.
I don't know if anyone did. We mention like how you and I met?
I don't think we have.
So we worked at a spin studio together, a great spin studio that we both love, and still attend class whenever we can.
Yes.
But we were front desk receptionists, and a big part of our job was like making sure everything was clean, all the equipment was like ready to go, and that the clients were all set up, and we would like mop floors and clean the bathrooms, and like that was like how we bonded.
Yeah. We bonded over mopping floors and the smell of latex gloves.
Oh my God. It's so hard to get rid of the smell of latex gloves. You have to do, I think the trick is really hot, like scaldingly hot water and soap.
It's embarrassing. Like I remember like showering after a day of work and then like crawling into bed and like snuggling up. And I was like, I still smell the latex. I'm like, I still smell the latex gloves. What's going on? I am like... This is not attractive. But yeah, we met over mopping floors. And I knew immediately, I was like, this girl gets me.
Why? Because I was so sullen all the time?
I was like, she
knows emo. I need her in my life.
No, it's like when you know, it's like when you know someone gets your like dark and twisty place. That's what I'm going to call it. the dark and twisty place of you. You're like,
She knows my things.
I'm like, this girl knows what's happening. And I remember vividly. I had to work on my birthday, and I think I told you that, and you were like, we're going out. Like, we're gonna go get a drink. It was like a Monday. It was like a Monday night.
Let's get wasted for your birthday.
Yeah, and we went to this.
You have no plans?
I know. You were like birthday? Judging me. I was like, I don't know. And you took me to this bar around the corner, and we had like vodka shots or something. Like, I don't even know.
Oh yeah, the Surly Goat on Ventura Boulevard.
We weren't even like officially like good friends yet, and she's like taking me out for vodka shots, and I was like, okay. I was like, I'm down. And then I remember you had left that job, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I gotta keep in touch with that girl because like I just knew in my heart. I was like, she is a friend. I don't know what it was. I can't even describe it. I just knew that we should still hang out.
You knew it in your guts.
I knew it in my guts. And so I remember reaching out to you on Facebook. Oh my God, this is
I
so
honestly
lame.
don't remember this, but I love you telling me this right now.
This is so lame. I remember reaching out to you on Facebook. I was like, we should get together or something. And I think you were like, okay, sure. And I was like, oh, never hearing from her again. Like, it was like dating a man. I was like, oh
hard.
no.
It's hard making friends at this age.
It's really difficult. You have to put yourself out there.
Because unless you're like, you grew up in school together, most people like make their friends in school or at their workplace.
Yep.
Like, yes, we worked together, but I left. That was for both of us and most of the people that work there, because I don't think anyone that we worked with currently works there anymore. It was meant to be like a part-time, temporary thing. So it's kind of harder to make friends. And so it's kind of like dating.
It was. And I was like, honestly, I can't let her get away.
It's more vulnerable because I've been in the same position you were. I've asked out girls to like be friends. I'm like, I'm going to woo you until you go to a wine bar with me.
I've done it many times. Pamela's the only one that stuck around. Honestly. But yeah, no, it's very vulnerable. But I knew I needed to do it. I was like, I need girlfriends out here. I can't just,
I get that.
Yeah, so
I'm so happy you did.
I am too.
You're a good one.
I am too, but I knew in my heart, I was like, she could be a really good friend. And so I just reached out to you and you kind of were like, okay, sure. And I was like, oh, I probably won't hear from her again. And then I think you asked me to get dinner or something. I think you asked me to get dinner.
Probably.
And that's where it all began.
It's so funny because now, not now, but like maybe like starting about 9 months ago to a year ago, that's when like my established friends started knowing about you, and they're like, when are we going to meet her? It's like so a relationship thing.
It is. It really is.
Like the day that Tiffany, shout out Tiffy, was like, when am I going to meet Alexa?
Aw, I love your friends, by the way.
I know,
they're amazing.
I'm not going to lie, they're the best.
Absolutely amazing. But yeah, and speaking of self-care, like that was me knowing like I'm going to need girlfriends in my life.
Yes.
To keep me sane.
That's a huge self-care thing. What are some of the other self-care things that we do?
Cooking. For me.
For you, not for me.
I know,
Definitely
sorry.
not
I should
for me.
specify.
Rude.
Sorry. Cooking, jazz music, dancing. Love to dance. Singing. Beach time, which I think you do as well. We go to the beach alone.
I go to the beach alone quite a bit.
Yeah.
Actually. Maybe.
I will say I usually go to the beach alone to sulk.
You sulk at the beach.
I do.
It's very hard for me to sulk at the beach.
If something's bothering, it's weird. I have different things. When different things are going on, I do different things. And I think if I'm feeling sulky, it's not a word. I don't care. I made it up. I will go to the beach by myself. Done that on many occasions. What about you?
Well, like the most obvious one that comes to mind is like going to therapy. I go to therapy once a week. I think it's highly necessary, like not only because I feel like I've been through things that I feel like I need to sort out with a professional, but also like I've always thought that every actor should be in therapy to kind of understand like what their baseline is.
I completely agree.
To understand what makes them tick before they take on other things, because a lot of the time like you can take on a really intense character and sometimes it's really hard to come out of that or to like understand why it's making you feel a certain way. Like if you take on something really intense, like at least for me, I've become really sad sometimes and I'd be like, why am I feeling this way? And it's like, oh, it's bringing up this, this, and this. So therapy has been really helpful. That's like one obvious like self-care thing that I do. For me, yes, the friendship thing is like huge, spending time with friends that like I really treasure, but time by myself with no distractions, just like alone, is probably the most crucial thing for me.
I've most recently been doing that. I think it's something that I needed that I wasn't addressing. I think because I tend to distract myself a lot with things to do. And also growing up with siblings, I was constantly around people. So that's something I'm just
lucky.
I'm just recently realizing that I need alone time. I think that was something that I was neglecting, and I didn't realize that that was important. And just recently I've been more comfortable with spending alone time. Because at first it would make me a little uncomfortable. Like I didn't know what to do with myself. Because I was always, just growing up, I was always stimulated. My brother or my sister was around, or there was something to do.
Someone to fight.
Someone to fight with. And it's funny, there's a story to be told in this, actually. I've not always been great with alone time. And in fact, before I moved here, I was working several jobs and saving money to move to California. And I was working all the time, and then a day that I had off was a day that everyone was working. So I was at home by myself the entire day, isolated. And I just remember my dad, I think I told you this before, my dad coming home from work, and he was asking me what I was going to do. Like, he was like, are you doing something tonight? Like, is Shane picking you up? Like, where are you guys going on a date? What's happening? And I, like, lost my shit. Like, I was having, like, cabin fever. Like, I was like, I don't know. I've been home all day by myself. And my dad's like, I just remember him looking at me. And then my mom had, like, immediately come home after him. They worked separate jobs, but she was home short after. And my dad turns to my mom and he's like, she's losing it. We've lost her. Like, I literally was like a mess. Like, I'm crying. I'm been out.
Because you were by yourself.
Because I was by myself all day. I didn't know how to be alone because I was so stimulated all the time with my brother, my sister, my work, whatever. And that was the one moment I had by myself, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, what am I doing? And it was uncomfortable. It was weird. And then my dad was just not asking me the right questions at the right time. And I got very frustrated.
That's
and
so funny.
I, like, lost my shit. And my dad was like, oh, no. She's unraveling.
She's unraveling. That's my new favorite
That's
phrase.
what my dad says. She's unraveling. I've unraveled in front of my father many a time. And he's the youngest, and he had 3 older sisters. So he knows how to deal with women very well.
He is surrounded.
He's surrounded.
By women.
Thank God for my brother, honestly.
Because he's like lost too, because he's surrounded by women too.
Yeah.
And he has a new fabulous girlfriend. So like surrounded by women.
No, my dad knows how to deal with the female emotions very well. Thank God. Because like he didn't freak out. He was just like, she's unraveling. What do we do?
I feel like it's funny hearing you say that because I didn't even think about it. I've always felt like everyone needed this. Because I'm an only child, and so I've always naturally like spent a lot of time by myself in my room, like,
which makes perfect sense,
reading or watching TV or, you know, I don't know, doing scenes from movies into the mirror, like, I don't know. Very strange child. But if I don't have that time now, because I'm used to it, if I don't have that time, it's like, this is a very dramatic thing to say, but like it almost feels like I don't even know who I am anymore if I can't just like spend a fucking second by myself. And I'll like find like sometimes I have like anxiety and depression, like you name it, like it happens. I have it. But I will notice that there have been times where I get very overwhelmed around like a big group of people. If I'm like giving a lot of my energy to something, I'll have to step away and like I'll run to the bathroom or something and I'll just like breathe and like be by myself. And then like compose. It's even effective for like a couple of minutes to just, you know, be with my own company, to like ground myself. It's what it is. It's grounding.
Absolutely. And I think that's something I had been neglecting. And it's funny that you say that because I'm much better with one-on-one interaction in small groups than I am with large groups because I do get overwhelmed. And I think it was something that I just was ignoring that was a problem. And I thought like, oh, I must, I need to be stimulated all the time and I need all this and blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of losing myself in that. And recently I've been taking time for myself with reminders from wonderful friends that have been like, you need to take a minute for yourself. And I'm like, you're right.
It's also hard because you have roommates.
Yes, I do.
So it's, you don't come home to an empty house.
Right. Yeah. And as much as I love people's energy, I do need that time for myself. And there's a lot of times where I get overwhelmed and I have to, it's actually another funny thing I should bring up. I'm known as like an Irish goodbyer. Do you know what that is?
I can't do that.
I do it all the time.
I have too much anxiety, and then I'd have to like reach out to
when I get
and
really,
apologize.
if I'm at a party and I get really overwhelmed, I'll leave without even saying bye to anyone.
I'm a very efficient goodbyer.
That's amazing.
I'll be like, with every ounce of my body, like I'll be, with my body language, I will be saying, I need to be somewhere else, but I will put in the effort of like the hug and this was lovely, goodbye. Like, I have to go.
I will do that. I have, I can do that. It's just sometimes when I get really overwhelmed, I'm just like, I gotta go.
I get that.
I gotta go
I can
now.
do it by
My
myself.
Italian family would like,
oh my God.
hate
It
me
takes
for
forever
saying
to
that.
say goodbye.
Oh.
I come from a Jewish family. It takes
God.
forever to say goodbye.
You say goodbye at least 3 times to each person.
If you have to plan the goodbye at like
Yep.
Jewish events.
You plan it, you say it 3
I went with a
times.
friend of mine recently to like an event, and we were like, okay, I want to leave here in an hour, so we should start saying goodbye.
We should start saying goodbye now. No, that's what my dad says to my mom. He's like, Car, because my mom's name is Carla. They're gonna kill me after they listen to this podcast. My dad goes, Car, we got to leave in like 30 minutes. Do you think you can make this work? Like, can we say bye?
Close?
Is it cutting it close? We got to figure this out. We got to go. Like, that's why I think I've learned to just be like, nope, totally shut down, and like, we just got to go. And no one will, and we'll apologize later. Like, I just leave. And like, even when Shane's with me, I'll just walk out the door. He's like, where'd you go?
Shane's a thorough goodbyer, and you're like, I gotta get out of
Shane's
here.
a thorough goodbyer, and I'm like, gotta leave now. And he's like, Alexa says goodbye too.
At least you can trust him to take care of that for you.
He's got it. The funny thing is, he's Irish, and I'm not.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're Italian, Scottish?
Italian, Scottish, and German. Yeah.
Yeah. That's badass. So beach, alone time. My other big one, other than alone time, is driving. I will drive. Like if I have work or like an audition or whatever, and then I'm like done for the day and I'm heading home. And as much as my body wants to go home and like sit on my couch and like make my dinner and like relax, for some reason, most of the time, I will just keep driving past my house.
I've done that many times.
I will literally, for maybe an extra hour, I will drive. I'll blast like music.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like thinking of like what music.
Singing in my
like,
car
it's like
is
Little
my
Mix,
favorite.
which you got me into.
Little Mix.
Oh my God. I will just blast music and drive. I'll drive up and down Ventura Boulevard. I'll even drive to the beach sometimes, and I'll like sit out there.
Wow.
And like I will go so much gas. It's like so not eco-friendly, but like I just drive. It's so meditative for me.
No, I completely agree with you. I do the same I'm a little more pathetic.
No, you're not.
And I'll drive past the Warner Brothers lawn because it's not
You're like,
far from
one day I will be working there. My body wants to be there.
It's not far from my house. And I know there's like a certain route that I can take that like wraps around, and I blast music, whether it be like it depends on what mood I'm in. It'll be a Little Mix. It'll be, I don't know, like if I'm into indie rock, it'll be like the Kooks. Like, I don't know, but like, or Frank Sinatra.
If I want to
It's a
get real
classic.
emo, I'll like put on some Daughtry.
Ooh, yes. And I'll just sing and drive past the Warner Brothers lawn. I'll be like, hey, girl.
It's probably because you need like, okay, first of all,
I need inspiration.
It's not even that far from where you live. Let's be real.
Mm-mm.
Like you're not like going.
I'm not
2
going out of
hours
my way,
your
people.
to
Yeah.
drive to WB. Like,
No,
it's
very
fine.
close.
But it's gathering some inspiration,
Absolutely.
which I think is part of self-care.
I need it.
You do.
I need it.
I love taking myself on dates as part of my self-care, which is inspiring. Like, I'll go see plays. I'm a Geffen subscriber, so I'll go see some amazing theater. Like I
You've inspired me to take myself on dates. Did you know that?
Yeah, you've been.
I've never done that before until you said you've done that, and I was like, "That's badass." I was like, "I better do that too. I need to do that."
No one's gonna judge you for having your second, third glass of wine.
No,
you can have dessert, extra
Absolutely.
dessert. Not that you can't do that with like anybody, but like.
Right.
You won't be second guessing yourself. And also, like, if you want, you can always get lucky.
I've taken myself out to dinner by myself. I went to see Stars Born by myself. That was a little pathetic. I was like in the theater crying by myself.
It's a good movie.
It's a really great movie.
But
everyone was coupled up with their popcorn, and I was like, here I am.
I didn't find it to be that romantic of a movie, to be honest.
Not romantic, but it just felt really odd seeing it by myself. But that also was the first time I think I had taken myself out by myself, too. So
there was a lot of like
double whammy.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Shows that we watch for self-care. What are yours? We have one in common, which is like the best thing in the world.
The Great British Baking Show.
We love the Great British Baking Show. It's
therapeutic. It's
honestly everything that is good and pure
and lovely. Like all the people on there are so lovely.
Everyone, it's like a competition, but everyone is still so kind to each other. And whenever they do like cuts, they cut to like lambs in a field, and I'm just relaxed.
I get emotional over it.
People hug when they're like leaving the show, and like no one throwing a fit. Everyone's just like nice.
Talk about vulnerability too, as well with that show. Like everyone's super open and vulnerable on that show. Like they like totally show their emotions.
They're passionate about what they're doing. They're amateur bakers, but they're passionate about what they're doing.
I love it. I love passion. I love watching passion.
I can't watch that show without eating, though, which is another form of self-care, also self-sabotage. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching that show last night, actually, and thank God I was like having dinner because I was ravenous.
Ravenous, yes.
I was just going after my food.
Love that word, and also that's what I feel most days of my life.
You're just always ravenous?
Oh, yeah, I love to eat.
Yeah.
Love to eat.
Well, you are good at cooking, so... She made me this badass risotto with lemon flavor the other day. It was fucking spectacular. I couldn't even. Parks and Rec is my other one.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good one. I like to watch Sex and the City. That is definitely a self-care show for me. Just because I think it's so funny. And I love it. And it's relatable. Still to this day. And One Tree Hill.
One Tree Hill.
I love me some One Tree Hill.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of One Tree Hill. Oh my God. I see a marathon coming up. Oh God.
Pamela?
Oh God. I see it in your eyes.
You will love it.
I probably will. I think it was like a year and a half ago, I started watching Gilmore Girls because everyone had that expression when I told them I never saw it. And I was obsessed with it.
You need to see One Tree Hill. It's good.
I'll check it out for sure.
Very, very good.
I also love... I love watching shows and movies where people are competent at doing their jobs. I just love watching people do important work and watching them be really good at doing important work. Newsroom, and that's why I also like watching Spotlight. It's a really dark piece, dark movie, but like I don't know why. I don't know what it says about me. I just really enjoy that movie because it's like they're doing important work and doing important work well.
You introduced me to that movie, and I love the passion.
Yeah.
In that movie, the passion that each character has is incredible. And
the performances are fucking spectacular. As an ensemble, they like worked cohesively and just spectacularly together.
Out of this world. And I watched that after you had recommended that to me, and then I was home and I was like, guys, we gotta watch this movie, and they weren't like as enthused.
They're like, this is a bummer.
They were like, this is really my parents, yeah, I mean my parents are amazing and lovely and awesome.
My mom, I made her watch it,
yeah,
and she was like, this is sad.
Yeah, they were like, this is
like,
depressing.
I understand.
They like want to be enthused by things. They're like, this is depressing. I don't And I'm like, but the passion, like I can't.
Yeah,
it's
something
hard.
about that. The
Yeah.
passion. That's yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me, and I can't, and I have to just let it go because I get a little let down. I'm like, I don't think they enjoyed that as much as I did, And I gotta let that go because everyone enjoys things differently, and it's all subjective at the end of the day. But gosh, that movie is. It's incredible.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No, it's incredible, and I'm such a. I think it's because you and I are both so passionate for the things that we like, for what we do, and we're passionate on the day to day for things we care about, and so I think we relate a lot to that movie with the passion that those characters have. So I think that's why we love it so much.
I agree, 100%. I think it's really important to kind of be on top of the self-care because I think for every human, because being a human being is like hard enough. There's like so much.
It's like really hard. They don't warn you for
just
that.
Being alive, like it takes.
Being alive is hard.
It's hard.
They don't teach you about that in school,
especially like interacting with other people and like considering other people's feelings and you know how their actions affect you. Like it's a lot. It's a lot, but particularly when you're pursuing a career that is not that easy to pursue. Whether it be acting or whether it be, being a lawyer or being an accountant or being a doctor, whatever you are, everyone's dealing with their own sets of challenges. And if you don't have your like own self-care, I can only speak for myself, but like when I don't take care of me, if I don't take care of number one, everything else is going to go to shit. I'm not going to do anything well. And I notice that especially when things slow down. Like when I don't have as many auditions, I will go into a tailspin. I'll be like, what am I even doing with my life? What's happening? I'm sad all of a sudden. I am not eating as well. I'm not going to the gym every day. I'm not doing the things I need to be doing to keep myself at, baseline. Keeping the car running at, neutral or whatever. I'm not keeping this thing going. So that's when like the self-care thing happens. So like I need to like actively remind myself to be like, okay, if things are slowing down, which it's the nature of the beast. It's going to be real fast at certain times and it's going to slow down. It's going to pick up again and then it's going to be, it is what it is. But like in the times where it's not going the way I would like it to go, I need to remember to participate in my whole human existence and not want to crawl in a dark hole.
And also not to be so hard on yourself. I know for me, like when things slow down and I'm not, getting any auditions and things are just very mundane, I'm really, really hard on myself as a person. And I need to be better at I need to be kinder to myself.
It's like those extreme, like you and I while we're very like analytical about like, okay, we understand that this is happening, so we're feeling this, but we're also like, I'm feeling this way. I'm ready to blow the whole thing up.
Yep. I'm like, I'm worth nothing. What do? I gotta find another career. Like I'm like my mind begins to like spiral. I'm unraveling, if you will.
The yarn is all over the place.
Yep. Shout out to my dad for that. Unraveling.
So self-care is like so key, I think, for everybody, but I've just been feeling it a lot lately, and just being aware of it, I think, is key.
Well, it's hard because it's like when you get an audition or you get an opportunity, it's such a high.
Oh my God.
It's
I
incredible.
don't give a shit if I don't hear from someone. I don't like a divine human. I'm just like, oh, they didn't call. Well, fuck that, because I have an audition.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care. I have an audition for this, so
I'll deal with that after the audition. Like now, this is the center of my universe. I'm going to focus on nothing else for the next 48, 72 hours. This is my life.
Like it changes my whole day. Like, it doesn't matter if I have to go to work for 8 hours. Like,
everything else could be going to shit, but I will have a grin on my fucking face.
Yep. Absolutely.
But that's not everlasting, because even if you do get the job, you shoot it and then it's going to be over and then you go back to square one.
It's
it's constantly evolving.
It's very fleeting, yeah.
So, self-care.
So you have to keep it up. so that you don't
Unravel.
It's very difficult not to unravel.
So, Alexa, are you okay? Are you unraveling?
I'm not unraveling right now. I mean, give me a couple hours. Maybe I will be. I don't know. I'm very... The highs and lows happen very quick, but I'm not unraveling right now. I'm good. There's a lot of things going on in my life in general in this moment, and I'm choosing to handle them with a lot of...
Aplomb.
Yes. I'm being very calm. I'm not overreacting because I think for me, I found that if something goes wrong, what makes it worse is my reaction to it. So right now, a lot of things are happening, not in my favor necessarily, but I'm choosing to stay calm and positive, and it's working for me for now. Until next time when I'm unraveling. So I'm trying to stay positive. I'm not okay.
No one's okay.
No one's okay. I'm not okay, but I'm fighting to be positive at the moment, and it's working for me. So I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't anymore.
I like it.
What about you? Are you okay?
No. Yeah, things have slowed down, so I'm just trying to like balance my self-care and my work and, you know, my side job work. And I'm trying, when I've noticed that like something that really helps me when things slow down is to put all my attention on my work for my class, because classwork, like we're working on some like really, some of the plays that we work on in my acting class are, if not most of them are, or all of them are just, they require a lot of attention to detail, and they're very rich pieces. And so if I can throw myself into that, that usually makes me feel better.
Acting class is what keeps me going a lot of times.
Oh my God. I was going through some really heavy stuff for a good 6 months over the last year. And I think I got over the main hump, knock on wood, the last like 4 months. But like before that, I was a complete shit show of a mess. And
we both were.
It was not good.
We were both going
You and I were
through...
mirroring each other like in crazy, which was like helpful, but also not.
That's how we became really, really close too.
Because we would feed off each other, and it wasn't like necessarily healthy, but also like it was nice to have someone like that was relatively understanding.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't, because a lot of people were very understanding. But one of the things was a big part of my self-care was going to acting class. I refused to miss a class because if I did, I was like emotionally, mentally fucked. I wouldn't necessarily put up work, but I would just sit in the back row with my hoodie on, being really emo and just watching people work because it kept me sane.
Acting classes saved me on many accounts. I think I skipped a month at one point, in which I do at certain times when I'm going to be out of town or whatever. But I went through a phase where like I was working a lot and I hadn't found time for it. And I remember specifically like calling my dad and being like, I'm losing it. I need to do this. Like I need to figure out, I need to find time. I need to like, it was needed. Like acting class is self-care.
Huge.
I need to go and I need to, it's learning. It's
a source of inspiration.
Exactly. A source of inspiration.
When you're an artist, like, and I never like referred to myself as that before I had this experience, but like I feel like having, and it sounds so hoity-toity, and I'm judging myself so hard even saying it, talk about vulnerability, but I think that when you're an artist, like, and you don't feel inspired, you just go into a tailspin.
Absolutely.
I don't know. That's my experience.
No,
You're holding your head.
I'm holding my head right now because I'm like, I relate. Yeah. It's bad. It's not good. We need to be doing what we love and what we're passionate about.
Self-care is important.
Yeah.
No one's okay.
No one's okay.
Thanks so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the things. If for some reason you want to see more of us, you can follow us on Instagram at NoOne'sOkay.
And a special thanks to Jordan Ross Weinhold, Sean Moore, Jason Crow, Claire Palmer, Jackson Palmer, Tiffany Haymoff, Shane Rings, James Liddell, and our podcast is recorded at Soundworks Studios. We can't wait to meet you!
Who fucking knows? I am actually dead. I was like, oh my god, why is this a thing? Because there was one scene, I think it was because there's one scene in particular, I got a tattoo on my ankle in the show, and like I fling my foot on the table and I have the stiletto on to show off my ankle.
He loved your food.
He was loved like,
that's when he fell in love.
Oh, gross.
That's so funny. Guys are such good.
What do you want me to say?
I love it. Jason says, I love it.
What do you want me to
In just like the most insane way.
It's weird.
Like, it's like you might be unsafe way. Like that, I don't love that.
Oh, yeah. No. I knew what
You
you meant.
might chop me up later. Not in that way. So gross.
Interesting.